89.3 and 88.5 Yes FM. Also broadcasting on the internet at yeshome.com and on your smartphone through TuneIn Radio and Wonder Radio.
We have live on the phone somebody who you may or may not have heard of. It's a little band called Hawk Nelson. We've played a couple of their songs here and there, and he apparently is this new lead singer. So everybody say hi to John. Hi, John. How are you?
What is up, Jessica? How are you?
I'm doing very well. So tell us what's new in the life of Hawk Nelson.
Oh, well, so much is new. We have a new record that comes out tomorrow. It's called Made. We're really excited about it. It's been about a year in the making, and for people that have listened to Hawk Nelson for a while, it's going to be a little bit different. So,
different how?
Well, for those of you that haven't heard, about a year ago, Jason, our longtime singer, he moved on from the band about a year ago, and we went through a kind of a period of figuring out what that was going to mean for us, and I moved into the role of becoming the lead singer about a year ago. I had been the guitar player this whole time, pretty much. So it's the first record and the first bunch of music with me as the singer. So if it sounds a little bit different, that's why.
So I'm assuming, though, you can sing. You're not a just a guitar player.
I would hope so. I've been doing it for a year in the band now, so by now I would think someone would have told me, dude, not for you.
Probably.
I would hope.
Oh, well, so with Jason, do you guys still talk to him? Is everything going well with him and with you guys in the band?
He's living out in New York City now. His wife actually has a show on MTV, and I think they moved out there for her to be closer to her work. And we still text here and there. I'm a product of, I guess, a younger generation. I'm not a phone person really, so I mostly communicate through text. So me and him text here every once in a while, and I think he's doing real well.
Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about this new album, other than the fact that there's a brand new lead singer on it. What kind of differences will we see from the old Hawk Nelson versus what are some of the consistencies that we'll see?
Yeah. Well, we kind of got a really rare opportunity as a band to sort of shuffle the deck and go back to the basics and figure out what are the reasons why we do what we do and what about do we do that do we really love and want to hold on to, and then what areas do we want to grow in, kind of. So for this record, our hope was that we knew it was going to sound a little different. You can't help but sound a little different when you change singers, and we knew that was going to be the case, but we hoped that it would still feel like Hawk Nelson because, the DNA of the band is still the same, and we were all really involved before, so it wasn't as though it was entirely one-man show before or anything like that, so... hopefully there's a bit that's a little bit familiar, and then also some things that maybe you wouldn't expect from Hawk Nelson.
Okay. Now, what is your personal favorite song on the new album?
Well, that's really hard for me. I get asked that a lot, and I haven't landed on one necessarily because we actually wrote about 50 songs for this record.
Wow.
And the 12 that are on the record are really our favorite 12 and the ones that we felt the strongest about. I'm pretty partial to one of the songs called Faithful that's really kind of about our story as a band. I mean, a year ago, we weren't sure if we were still going to be a band. We kind of wondered if maybe this was it for Hawk Nelson, and God kind of breathed new life into something that we were kind of thinking was about to go away. And so we just feel like God's been so faithful in our lives to really be unexpectedly amazing. And so the song Faithful, it's one of the later tracks in the record, is really kind of, special to me because of that.
Awesome. We are talking to John Steingard. He is the new lead singer of Hawk Nelson. Their brand new CD, it's called Made, and it'll be dropping tomorrow. And today is a Win It Before You Can Buy It Monday, which means Yes FM has a stack of those CDs to give away. Yes, thank you for hooking us up with that.
No problem.
And if you've got a question for John and the guys of Hawk Nelson, go ahead and make sure you tweet it into us real quick here. You can send an email or text to studio@yeshome.com. We did have a question come in from Barbara. She wants to know, what concerts do you want to go to, John?
Oh, that's a really good question. Okay, well, I'm not sure how big he is down here, but up in Canada, he's a legend. Bryan Adams. Are you familiar with Bryan Adams at all?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of, yeah. I'm kind of a big fan. He's a Canadian legend. We're Canadian. Anyway, I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and he's playing here in Nashville in May, and so I'm pretty excited about that. I can't really find anyone to go with me, though. It's weird.
Maybe because you use the term Canadian legend, which I feel like there should be a joke with somewhere, but I'm just going to stick it there.
No, I'm really legitimately excited about that one.
Okay.
So,
What other bands do you listen to during your free time?
Recently I've really been. I'm not sure if I should say this. I'm going to say it. I have heard a sneak peek of the new Afters record.
Ooh.
And it's not out yet. It is really good. It's really good. I'm loving it. I really like the new 10th Avenue North record. The Mercy Me record that came out last year was really awesome. I love this band Imagine Dragons. Came out last year, I think. It's really good. I feel like there's been a slew of really good music put out recently.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. So,
what about your own music? Are you one of those guys that can listen to your own CDs? Do you put in the old Hawk Nelson stuff or even your new stuff and listen to it, or do you just try to stay away from the songs that you guys have recorded?
We've been really excited about this new record, and it's coming out tomorrow, so for a lot of people it'll be the first they've heard it, but obviously we've been living with it for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I'll throw it in my CD player in my truck every now and again and really enjoy it. And part of that for me is just that, like, this is a whole new season for us as a band that we weren't expecting, and it was not. Things didn't necessarily happen the way that we were praying for them to happen, but God had a plan that was bigger than what we knew how to ask for. And when I listen to it, for me personally, it reminds me of all the things that God's been faithful in our lives. And so that's kind of the reason why I like to stick it in every now and again and be like, oh yeah, like God is working here, and we just get to kind of be along for the ride.
Absolutely. Can you tell our listeners maybe a story of something that has happened, with God and with you guys as a band outside of, the changing of the structure of your band? What other things have you guys faced and had to see God bring you through?
Well, for me personally, throughout the same time that I was writing this record, I have a younger sister who was, her and her husband were having their first baby, and in the middle of all that, she was diagnosed with lymphoma, and so she went through chemo and radiation and all this stuff. My family was kind of walking through it together right around the same time that I was writing all this music for this record, and it was just a crazy time where my family kind of clung to God in a way that, maybe a slightly more desperate way than we ever have. But at the end of it, my sister finished her treatment and she's healthy and the baby's healthy, and we're so thankful for that. And looking back, I kind of felt like, wow, like my family has been really drawn closer than ever before through this whole thing. And I know we've been talking to God and drawing closer to Him more than ever before throughout this whole process as well. And that kind of inspired one of the songs on the record called Every Beat of My Broken Heart. And the idea that that God doesn't want bad things to happen to us, but when they do, He can redeem them, and He can bring good out of them. And that's just an amazing thing. And so that's something that's kind of near and dear to our hearts right now.
Awesome. Well, I hate to ask bands who are just coming out with a new album, well, what else do you guys have going on? Because it's like, don't you have enough, getting this released? But what else do you guys have going on?
Well, we're doing a bunch of festivals this summer, which we're really excited about. We weren't at most of them last year because we were in the middle of figuring out what is our band. But now with the new record, we're hitting a lot of the festivals this year, and this fall we're going out on tour with Building 429 and the Afters, and we're super excited about that. It's going to be a great tour. I love all those guys, so we're really looking forward to that one.
Very nice. We are talking to Jon Steingard. He is the lead singer of Hawk Nelson. Their new CD, Made, is in stores and on the line tomorrow. And Jon, if you have time, we have a couple more questions for you.
Absolutely.
Jeremiah wants to know, Star Wars or Star Trek?
Well, I think Star Wars stands the test of time a little more than Star Trek.
Definitely.
So I love Star Wars, but I am a Trekkie also, and I normally don't talk about it because like my wife's kind of trained me well. Like she's sort of like, honey, maybe don't talk about Star Trek when we're out with friends because I want them to like us.
Well, yeah.
And so I've been trained to be under the radar, but I guess I'm talking about how I'm a Trekkie on live radio now.
Yes,
so.
you are. You are no longer a closet Trekkie.
Sorry, honey. Anyway.
You might be in a little bit of trouble.
Nobody tell her. Don't tell her.
Okay. Nobody write in to John Steingard's wife and say that he was this Trekkie.
You're suggesting it. Oh, gosh.
Okay, it is April Fool's Day. So what is the most ridiculous either April Fool's Day prank or just prank in general that has been played on you or played on anyone on a tour that you've been part of?
Well, I mean, speaking of today, there's been a couple that have kind of gotten me today. I mean, I'm realizing April 1st, if you actually have some legitimate news to announce, this is the absolute worst day to do it. Because some friends of mine announced that they're having a baby, and of course I was really skeptical, and I was like, yeah, right, April Fools, and then they tweeted, oh shoot, we didn't even think it was April Fools. We shouldn't have announced today. No one believes us. And so I'm texting him, and I'm like, dude, are you having a baby or not? And it actually ended up being a prank for real. But gosh, what a terrible day to announce anything important.
You never know. You can't.
I know.
And until midnight tonight, you're never going to know. Are they really actually having a baby? Because it's just going to go back and forth.
I know. And my friend who was announcing this is the kind of guy that would want to mess with you for an entire day. It's not like one little prank is not enough. He wants to mess with you. Actually, it's Andrew who plays guitar for 1,000 Foot Crutch. So so I'm outing him on live radio. So
is his wife pregnant or not? We will know in 9 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, we had somebody text in. They wanted to know, does Hawk Nelson love hats?
Hats?
Hats, like as you wear in your head. Do they love hats?
Huh.
Do you love hats?
Okay, I am not normally a hat person because how some people just like they look normal in hats. When I put a hat on, I regressed to being about 8 years old. I'm like 8 years old playing baseball or something, and so I'm not much of a hat person, honestly. But Justin, our drummer, he'll wear hats occasionally. He can rock a hat.
He can rock a hat. Okay. And let's see here. We've got. Okay, no more questions from our listeners. But if you do have a question for the guys of Hawk Nelson, I'm sure that they would love to tweet with you or talk with you online. This
Absolutely.
is John Steingard. We are talking to him as the lead singer of Hawk Nelson. And can you tell us a little bit about your song Words that we've been playing on Yes FM?
Yeah, well, it kind of came out of a conversation that we were on tour with Mercy Me last year when we were going through all these changes as a band, and Bart Millard was actually the one that suggested that I become the singer of the band. And up until that point, my mom had been the first one to suggest it, and I had kind of brushed it off, Mom, you think I can do anything, as moms usually do. But Bart really spent some time speaking like words of encouragement into me and all that, and that really led us down this path of the band that we're becoming now. And when we were writing, we were thinking about that and being like, man, like words really have such power to build you up or to break you down, and we wanted to write a song about that. So we wrote this song, and it was one of those songs that felt special from the get-go, and really about the power that each of us have to speak life into each other. And of course, once the song was written, we immediately thought, well, we would love to have Bart sing on it because he really exemplified that in our lives, and he agreed to do that, and so that's kind of how that song came about. It's really a special one for us.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today. It is Hawk Nelson, and if you missed any of the interview today, you can find it at our podcast page at yeshome.com or very shortly on our YouTube page. And once again, their new CD, it's called Made, and it'll be dropping tomorrow.
Yes FM.